Happy Friday. It is August 22nd, 2014. I cannot believe how fast time is just blowing by me. Today I'm super duper, uber excited to have Mr. Cris Garza in the house with me. He'll be talking about his marketing and all the amazing things that he has been doing with his life. And he is like me from the southeast side. Whoop,
born and raised, still live there.
So, and I love that. I love going down by the Lions Park and all that fun Pecan Valley area. So I am just super thrilled to have somebody from my part of town, sitting in here with me and all the exciting adventures that he has done with his marketing skills and his amazingness. So, yay!
Glad to be here.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
so much.
coming on. Okay, so you used to be Garza Marketing SA.
The website was Garza Marketing SA. It's still that. I'm transitioning over to CrisRGarza.com,
Okay.
but the company is still Garza Marketing.
And so what does Garza Marketing do for people that...
In a nutshell, we are a solutions-based consulting firm. We will sit down with you and find out where your needs are. If it needs a Band-Aid or if you need full-on surgery, we will see what we can do for you.
You have pink Band-Aid?
We have pink Band-Aids. We even have bacon Band-Aids. I'm not wearing one today.
Oh, wow.
And I will sit there and what the company specializes in is social media.
Okay.
We'll build and maintain your social media for you. Websites, build and maintain your website hosting, graphic arts if you need it. I partner with several graphic artists that can give me different price ranges for different budgets. In addition to that, I can do printing services.
Wow.
Business cards, flyers, brochures, car magnets, banners. Pretty much if you need it printed, I can get it printed for you. And if I can't do it, I have resources.
Awesome.
Try to be a one-stop shop for small businesses and large businesses alike.
But you've not only just worked with businesses, you've also worked with political people as
I have.
well, which are kind of their own business in their own
It is.
sense.
It's a business in its own. About 20 years ago, I was very politically active, and I did a lot of stuff, ran campaigns, political
The kind where you go and you knock on the door and,
Door to
hey,
door.
can you vote for my guy or
campaign
girl?
manager, field director, and I kind of got out of that. And then last campaign, I helped another candidate. Unfortunately, she didn't win, but
You were on there.
Yeah, we're out there.
I'm a huge fan. Everybody who knows who watches SA Talk Today, I love The Good Wife. Have you seen that?
I haven't.
Oh my gosh, it's
I'm not a big
all
TV
about.
watcher.
I'm not either. My mom, and Mom, you got me hooked on that. She came over. She's like, "Oh, Mija, just like." Well, she used to work in a law firm for 27 years, a corporate law firm. So it fascinates me. It's all about this lawyer woman who works in there, but her husband is this governor candidate guy, and of course there's scandal, and so then she has to like pick up the pieces and become the good wife, and she goes back to work in this law firm because they had been lawyers before they started their family. And so I see all the drama and everything and private detectives and stuff. Is that real life political?
Some of it is. It really is. I mean, I remember
Ooh.
sitting in dark cafes in the middle of the night,
Really?
meeting with people from the other camps
No.
and talking strategies, and it can be like that.
See, that's drama.
It is.
That's drama.
Which is one of the reasons I got out of it. It's
Yeah.
very stressful.
It sounds scary. It's like you're not supposed to be friends, but then you're being friends, and then you're telling everybody that you're not friends. That doesn't
Yeah.
even sound sort of fun.
It's very stressful. I mean, I didn't know. You really don't know who your friends are.
Wow. That is insano to me. Like,
Yeah, you don't sleep
ever.
at all.
Not with two eyes closed, because somebody
Yeah,
come
really.
and stab you in the back. Who was supposed to be a friend.
Exactly.
Eek! And the private eye stuff?
I never dealt with that. I know some of the politicians did, but I was a grunt out in the field.
Okay.
I did a lot of the door-to-door stuff.
Which
I did a lot of.
I love that grassroots stuff. I think that is when I met you and you were like, yeah, I do that. I was like, that's so impressive, because so many people are out of touch because, like me, I have my phone in my hand and Facebook and social, but to get that knock and have someone stand there and say, really, this is a good person for you to vote for these reasons, I just think that's fascinating.
What we did is we combined grassroots with technology, though. There's an app out there that politicians and politics can use You can go knocking on the door just like you do traditionally, but instead of capturing all the information on sheets of paper and going through it every night, the technology comes in where you can do everything on a tablet or on your phone.
Okay, so we need to know, because you know who is interested in opening up a super PAC? Me. I want us
Good luck with that.
Texans for a prosperous tomorrow. Well,
I can put you in touch with the right people.
Okay, because you know why? Is that because I see a lot of things, and my cousin, who I adore him, but he loves to fight with me on Facebook. Love you, Gabriel, but you always fight with me on Facebook. Because I'm very idealistic, and he's very real world. And so I'm always like, but can't just everybody love each other and get along? And he's like, no. He's like, we can't because they're crazy.
Which is true.
So that's why we lovingly fight. But that's the thing is that he's like, well, why don't you make a call to your local guy, and why don't you tell him? Don't be telling me. And I'm all like, because I don't know who to call. And he's all like, yeah. So don't be lazy. He's like, get up. Figure it out.
Find the information.
Do it.
It's out there.
He's like, go do it. And I love him for that because he is very motivating and inspiring. But as soon as I get up to try to go on my stuff to look, then here comes the emails and here comes the text and everything else that I already have going on. And then the baby calls me and then Papi needs me and then the family. And then the next thing I know, it's been 3 weeks and I still haven't figured out who my representative was or is or whatever. So that's...
You need a good assistant is what you need.
I guess I need a second brain is what I need. And so... but yeah, I was turned on to the idea of a super PAC when I took on this business. And I thought, and it was like, yeah, now you can ask those people to come in and talk to you, like, why do they feel the way they do? And I was like, really? And I was like...
You could say, why are they crazy?
Well, I hear, though, the paperwork is just crazy insane.
Yeah.
Like, you have to report. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. I'm still doing my taxes from last year. And then I evolved and grew into this part of the Starville recording and audio now. I'm like, I don't know if I can deal with any more paperwork. So did you saw all that going on? You saw all that?
I did. The most recent one, I would sit there and I would drive the candidate from place to place. And she would run off at the courthouse and get something turned in. Then we'd go to the Democratic campaign headquarters and drop off paperwork there and go sign something here. And that was probably once a week, which is all the reporting. So
wow,
it's very stressful.
Very stressful for you.
Yeah.
And then you were doing other things though too.
Yeah, I was still trying to run my business.
Wow. And that's the marketing side for the small business, the normal, the more regular style.
The more regular stuff. The stuff that doesn't involve me waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning going, okay, no.
Wait, yeah, or who's supposed to be my friend and who's not my
Yeah.
friend? That is so wild to be in like dark cafes.
Where your calendar is this long and you're double booked all day long.
Ooh,
yeah.
Nightmare. No fun. But before that, you had been a union organizer.
Yeah, I was a union. I got introduced to the union when I was at Southwestern Bell. Well, that shows you how old I am. Back then it was Southwestern
I remember
Bell.
Southwestern Bell.
I was a union member at Southwestern Bell, and I did some union stuff there. And then after I left the bank and after I left Southwestern Bell, I worked for a union.
Wow.
And I was a union organizer for San Antonio, and then I did some traveling for it's like a clearinghouse of union organizers, like temp work for union organizers.
Wow.
And we went all over the country and organized.
And so you were trying to help everybody get their rights, get their time off, get their sick leave.
Yeah, I mean, because the union was everything from the garbage collectors to the psychiatrists and the doctors at the hospital.
Wow. And so they weren't aware of their rights, or they...
Depending on what they were, I did the medical field a lot. Because I have a professional background. I did a lot of professional organizing. I talked to those people because I can connect with them easier. So I was in San Diego organizing the VA.
I love San Diego.
If I could live there, I would, yeah.
The weather.
I couldn't afford to live there.
Yeah,
but,
it's the weather.
although, if I had to be homeless anywhere, it would be San Diego. I started looking for bridges to live under while I was there.
You're like, I could do that.
Yeah, the bridge looks comfortable. But yeah, you talk to doctors, and they're like the nurses and the doctors. There's a patient ratio, and there's times that they have to work, and they exceed those times.
Yes.
and they exceed the patient ratio, and that's what the union was there to help them with.
Oh, you know, as a personal trainer, I had a few nurses who would hire me to be their trainer, and they could survive the workouts. But they would tell me, Jacqui, you don't understand. We are working these elongated shifts, and then you go into the break room, and you might have 30 seconds to inhale something, and somebody's brought donuts. Somebody's brought some kind of refined flour, sugar thing just to keep you going. You know, nothing super healthy sitting around like a box of donuts. And I was like,
Yeah,
wow.
even as organizers, you could tell a good organizer because they had a bunch of food bags from fast food on the floorboard of their car.
They were just constantly.
Because I worked from 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning until 11 o'clock at night.
Oh my gosh.
On a campaign here in San Antonio. And it just.
Mind-boggling.
Yeah. I literally, my rest, my sleep, I would park in the park for like 20 minutes and just.
Wow.
Because I had to go to another meeting.
Yeah. And you couldn't go home. And you just go. That is like an insano lifestyle. But your insano lifestyle, though, Cris also used to be a nightclub owner. Now that had to be a super duper uber crazy lifestyle. You've seen it all.
Well, that actually was probably that was a time I never slept, because I was working at the bank full time. I'd get off of work at night, and I'd go straight to the bar. I'd make sure the bar was run, make sure it was doing everything, making sure everyone was paid and everyone was on time. I bartended. As the bar owner, you're everything. I was the bartender, I was the DJ, I was
wow.
So
I could have said, I'm with the DJ.
Yeah, I cleaned up bathrooms, from beginning to top.
Not the glamorous side that you think of when you think
No.
nightclub owner. You think, oh, you're pulling up in a Benz or
No.
Bentley, and you got all this bling. And
Although
all
I did have a
these-
cute little two-door sports car
There you
convertible back
go.
then.
There
So, but I'd get there and we would get out of work, close the bar down at 2, clean up until about 4. The staff and I would go and have breakfast until about 6 or 7, and we'd go shopping for the next day. I'd go home, sleep about an hour, hour and a half, and then go back to the bank.
Ah,
I
my
did that for
gosh.
3 years.
Oh my gosh, 3 years.
Yeah, coffee, Starbucks became my really good friend, and Red Bull became my really good friend. To this
Yeah.
day, though, now, if I just smell Red Bull, I'm like,
Yeah, no. I think we all went too much because we were all like, "Eee, this feels really good,"
Yeah.
and then it was like, "This is really bad for us."
yeah, so now I just drink my Jaeger straight.
Oh. Well, that's the thing, though, is like when you're running a nightclub and you're trying to work for a bank. I, for a minute tried to work for a bank, and there's like all these checks and balances, and they want you to. I was just like, it's all there. I'm like, look at my purse. There's no money in my purse. I don't have your money. But yeah, they wanted me to balance every day. I'm sure that was not easy.
Well,
being
I
exhausted.
I didn't work on the retail side.
Okay.
I worked on the corporate side. I was the associate vice president of diversity.
Oh wow.
So I was in charge of a lot of the diversity groups and the employee resource groups and networking groups, which is how I started networking.
That's really fun.
Yeah.
So that's when you started to learn how to host events and bring people together on a common theme. Wow.
Because the bank that I was at, they had a resource group and a network group for every single, if there was a women's group, there was a men's group, there was an African American group, there was an Asian group, there
A
was
Latino
a
group.
Latino
Okay,
group, there was an
thank you.
elderly group, there was a gay and lesbian group, so everything.
Everybody had.
And
a
then
little
what we had is once a year we had I think they called it a world conference, where everybody got together.
Aw.
And they did everyone got introduced to all the networking groups.
Wow. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's really, and so that was from the bank. And then so you had a professional look.
Yeah.
And then would you go and dress like John Travolta to go to the nightclub?
You know, I vouched to myself once I left the bank I would never wear a tie again unless I felt like doing it. So yeah.
So no John Travolta.
No.
But he didn't. He had his shirt all open and he was all.
That was usually me. I'd take the sports coat off.
There
and
you go. There you
unbutton
go.
the shirt a little bit.
So tell
the
me about
sleeves
a
up.
wild event in the nightclub without naming names. And
Okay.
thank God I was in nightclubs before Facebook or mobile cameras.
God.
Isn't it great to be a 70s baby?
Yeah, for real. So the nightclub I owned sat in a really, really awkward area. If you were to walk into the front and out the back, you've walked in and out of San Antonio like 3 or 4 times. Because it was in Alma's Park.
Oh, Oh, okay.
So the way the zoning was, like one part was Almas Park, one part was San Antonio, one part was Almas. So we had, they did an amateur male strip off one night, and the guy was dancing on the stage, and no, on top of the bar. I'm sorry, he was dancing on top of the bar and try to do like a split thing.
Oh.
And wound up dislocating his knee.
Ouch. Yeah, not cute.
No.
Not cute anymore. All the cute appeal leaves when you're going, oh,
So
the hospital, 911.
So that's what we had to do. So here we come. Here comes the EMS.
Oh my.
But it wasn't EMS. So we couldn't use EMS. We had to call Almas Park Fire
Oh
Department.
my.
So we had all these like cops and firemen and EMS and EMTs in the nightclub. I was like, well, there goes our night.
Yeah, that's kind of a downer. Yeah,
Yeah.
not exciting. Not exciting.
So that was probably the most interesting thing, yeah.
Yeah, I would say I've never seen anybody's knee dislocated, and I've worked
That
in gyms
wasn't pretty.
forever, and I can't imagine that's
It was
pretty.
just, yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty scary looking.
I tried to take like athletic training once in college, and then I saw somebody get kicked in the head, and I was so like overwhelmed with it. I forgot how to press like the go pedal on the gas thing on the golf cart that I was supposed to drive back to the medic and say, hey. I was like, oh my God, did that just, wow. That's not the reaction they want you to have. They're
Yeah.
like, jump into action, go, get people, you know, but that wasn't
Yeah, I don't
me.
think freak out was on the list.
Exactly. I did. I was like, wow, I didn't know that could happen. Oh, yikes. Okay, then there was a brief stint that you decided to like go into the modeling world.
That
Did
was
something.
probably about a year. I worked with an amazing makeup artist and an amazing model, and I did the marketing for it. And the three of us that got together, it was like at a random meeting actually. And at her salon, I was, clearly I wasn't there to get my hair done. But I was there visiting a friend. She was getting her nails done. And
People started talking.
Just started
I
talking.
love hanging out in a nail
And-
salon. I miss you, Chloe. Chloe's my nail girl.
So we got together and we trained like kids, like high school, college age, and a couple of them went on to do a couple things. The model, she worked with a modeling agency, and then of course the makeup artist did hair and makeup, and I did all the marketing for it. So it was a
Wow.
pretty good little thing we had going
So
for a
that's
while.
way different from working with medical people and all that. So what did you learn from working with that group, the modeling, acting world versus the medical? I'm sure.
Everyone's a diva. Everyone.
Everyone.
But I learned that marketing is marketing, regardless of if you're organizing medical professionals, garbage men, models, or a business. It's all comes back to the same thing.
Yeah.
It's knowing how and when to do things, where to do things, and how to position yourself.
That's huge. And those came from all those experiences where you worked for other people.
Right.
And then I always say that too, you work for other people to learn things, and then you go out and then you apply it. And then you
Yeah.
earn
Well,
for
I got
yourself.
tired of making other people money.
Yeah. But I'm sure it was exciting though to
Yeah.
see like how everything you just have to get the word out. Whatever it is, your mission, your cause. And that's why every business needs Cris, because you need to have that person who can tell you where your networks are, who is your target market, how do you reach that people, regardless of what your product or business idea is.
Right.
But now you're still doing it, or you're not the food critic?
I do it for fun now.
Oh, okay.
I was a food critic for the magazine. When I was a director of sales and marketing for a magazine, a local niche magazine here in San Antonio, and I was director of sales and marketing there. Things got kind of moved around, different management, different owners. So I stepped down and I became the food critic. I was kind of already doing it anyway, but I started doing it full time. Now, mind you, I want to tell you, I did not get paid at all for this, but I ate some really good restaurants.
I bet.
And I got to get into a lot of different events for free.
Wow.
There's a media day for the fiesta.
Uh-huh.
And if you go and show them that you're working for a magazine or a newspaper or a radio station, TV station, you get a media pass.
Oh.
And you get into probably like 90% of the events for free.
Oh, we're going to the event.
Because you're covering it.
Right, definitely.
So as a food critic, it was my job to eat everything at Fiesta.
Wow. So that's delicious.
Yeah. So, and I reported on it and wrote about it in the magazine.
Wow. So are you taking notes while you're eating?
I do.
Or do you keep it all? Because I can't keep anything in my head.
Well,
That's my biggest lie I tell myself is I don't need to write it down, but I do need to write it down.
I do. For a while I wasn't, but then I realized I really needed to. And back then we didn't have as technology like we do now.
Love
my phone has a
technology.
pen and I can write notes, literally write notes on it. So I do take notes now.
Awesome. My husband worked in the restaurant world for 1,000 years, and so whenever we go, there's always that little, oh, they missed this, oh, they could have done that, oh, and it's like, Papi, I'm like, you should just go be a consultant for these people and teach them how to make it all look just right. And he's like, no, I don't want to do it.
I do the same thing, and I'll see something coming to me at the table, and I'm like, and I start pushing things around with my finger. I'm like, oh, okay, I know what that is. My biggest pet peeve is jarred salsa at a Mexican restaurant.
You're like, really?
Yeah.
You couldn't make it fresh. Like, this is the one place we want fresh.
So, but then in the same regards, when I see, because I do printing, somebody will hand me their business card and I can feel the weight of it.
You're like, really?
And I'm automatically going, oh, please don't print your business cards at home. Just don't.
You're like, please.
Don't.
You're like,
and
a presentation of yourself.
Exactly. Because your words are cut off. And ink is on my finger.
Oh.
I went to a networking event, and this girl passed around her business cards, and I felt bad, not for what I said, but for she was passing around homemade business cards.
Oh.
So I stood up and I said, as a printer, and there's 2 printers in there, I said, please don't print your business cards at home. It doesn't give a professional look.
And you didn't look at her in the eye, though, when you said
No.
Good.
I was addressing a room of about 45 people.
You're like, blanket state.
Yeah, and I said, just don't print your business cards at home. It's not a professional look. And don't go to Vistaprint, because if you go to Vistaprint, you're taking business away from
The
local small business.
I have to admit, I used their magnets that time I went to your event.
And there's nothing wrong with it. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. My first set of business cards came from Vistaprint.
Yeah.
Because I was
just
on a
didn't know
budget.
better.
I needed that many business cards. I can't afford everything. But if you find the right printer and you find the right marketing company, they'll work with you. They'll work with you and they'll work with your budget.
Now, did you like my idea of using the magnet for my business card? Because, I use it when I give away my healthy nutrition plan. And the idea is that they'll put it with it on their refrigerator, and they'll hear my whiny voice every time they open up that refrigerator door and hear, what meal plan are you on today? Do you have A, C, and E? Are you with it? Because I do everything by groups and letters.
Right.
And so I love the idea of a magnet. And then for a while there, my girlfriends at the other modeling school I used to work at, they still tease me about it. I'd have like magnets for like our Vegas Stiletto Fitness and our Smash and our corsets, all like on one magnet, and then find us on Facebook. And they're like, Jacqi, it looks crazy. And I'm like, I know, but you want to come and you want to wear the corset and you want to do a Vegas Stiletto Fitness and then you want to go and work out and do some Zumba. And then she was like, no. narrow your focus. And I'm just like, oh my God, like Shauna was saying yesterday, I just chased too many rabbits. I just love so many things. I want to tell everybody like, hey, come hang out with us. There's no reason to stay home
That's
bored
what I tell
with
people.
us in town.
I'm a serial entrepreneur.
I love it. I love it.
You know, because in addition to all this I'm doing, I'm also a representative Legal Shield. I'm small business certified, so I can help the small businesses. I also have a service called Taxelope.
Oh, are you doing taxes?
I'm not doing it, but I can get you a service that is a lot cheaper than, not discounting CPAs. I just can't afford $10,000 a year for a good one.
Oh, amen to that.
But there's a service called Taxelope that's started by a financial institution in Austin. And so it's kind of locally owned. And you pay a small fee every month, and they do your taxes for you.
Oh.
If you're an individual, you push a button and your taxes are done.
Wow.
If you are a sole proprietor, small business, you push a button, your taxes are done for $150.
Now, I'm an LLC, But I have a lot of little subdivisions of my LLC. And God's graced me and blessed me, so I have like these little divisions. And I have receipts out the wazoo. I tried to buy one of those little neat receipt scanners, and I went cheap. I will admit, I didn't buy the desktop. I bought the little mobile one. That was brutal to try to use with my receipts because it was like, and I was like, really? I could have wrote it down. I could have typed it in before it got through the whole receipt.
Taxalope comes with QuickBooks Online. You also get access to the app. So all you have to do is take a picture.
And my receipt? Oh, I need that. Okay, so we're definitely calling Cris to help us with
We're restructuring it right now, and they're going to relaunch it again at the end of the year. It's going to be cheaper because right now it's $50 a month or $49 a month, which is still cheap.
That's cheap. That's cheap.
But they're restructuring it. It's going to wind up even cheaper.
Oh, I love it. So definitely make sure you're always checking back with Cris at the www.cris, and there's no H in there. That was another thing when I was looking for him. I was like, I think Cris unfriended me on Facebook. Wow. But no, Chris's dad decided he never wanted him to find anything at Fiesta, Texas with his name on it.
That's the story. I'm sticking to it.
So he just put CRISR Garza.com. So the whole thing is there's no H. So don't put an H. If you're looking for Cris, remember no H. Just
no H.
Straight CR.
I'm very particular about my H or lack thereof.
I love it. But yeah, I mean, that's huge for small business owners. I mean, I have receipts, and I try to like write a little P on the top or a B on the top. So, my tax guy, and God bless him, but
yeah, I had a client who I was doing all of his stuff. I mean, literally his bookkeeping and everything. And I told him, once I found about this product, I said, here, go buy this. He's like, but that's going to take money away from your pocket. I said, yeah, but I get my life back. Because he'd bring me a grocery bag about once a month or every other month full of receipts, and I had to figure out what the hell he was trying to do. So,
tough. It's tough.
Yeah, I don't want that anymore. I'll let somebody else do it.
When I first moved to LA, people would ask me, oh, did you move here to be a movie star? I was like, no, I want to play paddle tennis on Venice Beach and work out on Muscle Beach. I was like, that was my love. I just loved the weather, and I always wanted to be on that little Muscle Beach area. And they were like, Texas is really, cheaper compared to California. And I'm like, yeah, I'm recognizing that because, who knew? And they're like, and we have a state tax, and Texas doesn't. And I was like, a state tax? Why would you pay a state tax? I was like, do you get an option to pay the state or the federal? And those men busted out laughing at me, and they were like, blah. And I was just like, what did I say? And they were like, yeah, you're going to have to pay both a state tax now and a federal if you plan on staying here. And I was like, I better go to H&R Block and take the little $300 course and learn what I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because it was crazy. And so I know, chasing rabbits all the time. I actually worked for H&R Block for like 7 months. I worked in the Marina Del Rey, and then I went to their district office afterwards. And what happened was that I could not believe, how much more. I was like, and where is all this money going to? Because the roads are not as nice as our Texas roads. And I thought, wow, they must spend a lot of money on palm tree fertilizer, because I can't see anything else that they have here that we don't have nicer in Texas, except for the palm trees. I'm like, these palm trees really cost a lot. I said, okay.
They must import sand or something.
They must do something, because I could never for my life. So I understand enough about taxes to ask a question.
Yeah.
I'm just that dangerous. But the laws change every year.
Yeah, there's a guy at Taxalope who, for fun, this is the kind of guy I want doing my taxes. For fun, I don't know if you've ever seen the tax code book. It's about this big.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I have.
It's the most obscene thing ever written.
It is obscene.
And he reads that for fun. This guy's made more than one IRS agent cry.
Oh,
so
wow.
Yeah, that's the guy I want doing my taxes.
And that was the other thing too, is as an agent for that company, I would have to call the IRS to discuss other people's taxes, and it always seemed that whatever agent I spoke with gave me a different answer.
So you found the one that you liked?
Yeah. So you're like, I'll call you back on that. And wait about 20 minutes, go through the queue. And then, yeah, this is what, oh, and I'm like, yeah, that's sounding more like what I thought. Okay, what's your name?
That's the answer I needed.
That's the answer.
That's the answer I needed. Okay.
So what is up with that? Like, and that's something when you help people with tax elope, do they take into consideration like the laws or
what happens with the tax elope is when, if you have a question, so you're out, you have multiple businesses. If you have a tax question, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, you just give them a call and ask them, and that's covered in your fees.
Oh, I love that. You know, it's kind of like Legal Shield. I love
that.
It's
actually based on the same premise.
Oh, really?
On the same business model.
And elope, tags elope. So it sounds like instead of getting married at the altar, you're eloping.
Well, it was
Vegas.
like an envelope.
Oh, okay.
So it's tax elope.
Okay, sorry.
Although we do have a jackalope. I hope they. I like the jackalope. I really do.
Yeah?
But they want to get rid of it. The jackalope. You know what a jackalope is?
No.
It's like a little jackrabbit with horns.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
What do you mean
It's a
get rid of
jackalope.
it?
They're gonna get rid of this logo. It's kind of our mascot, if you will. So they're thinking about getting rid of it. I like the jackalope. Because taxalope, jackalope.
It's a bunny. How could you not love
it's a bunny? With horns.
Oh, well, maybe the horns. Yeah, okay. I don't know. That's so fun. So you help people with that too.
Yeah.
And you can be like, hey, let me take your stress off your brain. Let me help you shrink your budget, save more money in your budget to put towards other exciting things.
Exactly.
And other exciting things would be like hosting events. You help them to market and host events.
I host weekly events and monthly events.
Okay.
Because I'm from the South Side,
Whoop,
and
whoop.
I love all the growth over there. And I was kind of looking for networking groups closer to home.
Yeah.
I network all over the city. I tell people I only work on Mondays and Fridays because I'm actually out networking Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I go to about maybe a half a dozen meetings, networking meetings every week. But nothing was on my side of town. There was like one B&I. I'm not a big fan of B&I. B&Is are great for some people.
What are B&Is?
B&I, and I don't ask you what it stands for.
Oh, okay.
But I think it's a business network something.
Okay.
You have to pay a fee to get into this B&I.
Oh. I'm like, uh-oh.
That's a pretty high fee per year. And then you're required to do a lot of things. There's a lot of...
That's like a lot of homework.
It's a lot of requirements
as a
just
owner,
to...
I already got a lot of homework.
Yeah. Some people do really, really great with it. I just don't see it because I'm too busy. It's just me.
Right.
I can't send a representative.
Right.
I'm a micro business.
Okay.
I can't send a representative. So if I can't go to a meeting, they kind of penalize you and they'll kick you out.
Oh, wow.
So I don't like those
cranky.
kind of, yeah.
Okay, no cranky. I can't handle cranky.
So I started the South San Antonio Networking Group. And we meet at a different locally owned restaurant on the south, southeast, and east side of San Antonio.
So sweet.
So like for the month of August, we're at El Tipico on Goliad Road.
I love Goliad Road. That road has completely changed from when I was a little girl.
I'm totally set on doing this when it cools down. I'm gonna have a networking meeting at Floyd's.
Oh,
at Floyd's Dairy Bar.
I remember Floyd's.
Bring your $1.88 and
That's
get your
right.
5 burgers. I don't think it's $1.88 anymore.
Really?
I think it's like
I
$3
loved
or something.
Floyd's. They saved me from starving many, many, many of times.
Yeah, it's like all my college student friends when I was in college were like, "Oh, we're gonna go to Taco Bell." No, man, I'm going to Floyd's.
Floyd's, and it was good.
You can keep your 79-cent tacos. I'm gonna go get 5 burgers for $1.89.
And the skating rinks on.
Skating rink's still there.
Goliad and the bowling alley. Yeah, I got in a lot of trouble there. Sorry, Mom.
I bet you did.
I know. It was the day. It was the 80s.
It was.
It was the 80s, and there was no Facebook and cameras to just
so
blast you out there for discovering who you were.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Our high school reunion, our high school alumni will get together about once a year just for like snacks and cocktails, and we went to a restaurant a couple weeks ago, and we're like, aren't you glad there was no Facebook back then?
Thank God.
No Twitter, no Instagram.
Thank God. Just put you on blast,
like, yeah.
See, now I can say it wasn't me.
Nope.
Wasn't me. Was not me. I
do not recall
at home reading a book.
I was at the library. I was at the McCreeless Library. You can't blame that on me.
I loved McCreeless. Oh,
Even that's gotten a big facelift.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I remember the movie theaters there. My mom would like get the big purse and stuff all the yummies in there. And back then, they just looked at you, but they let you in. Of course, 70s, 80s, so it wasn't as, horrific. Now I think you get pulled aside and SWAT team. Swarm! I think she brought in food from somewhere else.
I know, it's like, can I check your purse? Can I check your bag? I'm like, no, get away from me.
Yeah.
I have a box of chicken in here.
You're like, I'm coming in to enjoy your movie.
I was like the McCrealis Theater always had a double feature because you paid for one, you went to the bathroom, and you went out to the...
Yes! Oh
Nobody
my
cared.
gosh, I almost forgot about that. Was so
I think the
true.
movies were like $1.
Yes, and they were dark.
They were
very dark.
But then we had it was a kind of a dirty theater. They didn't really keep it up, and you always walked up.
So it's not there, no?
No.
Is it? No, it's gone.
The whole thing is gone now.
Wow. Yeah, that's the thing when I've driven through there, I'm just like mesmerized by the growth. And I don't know if you knew or not, but I used to be the Miss Latina San Antonio back in 98, 99. And back then, for our little pageant parade, it was down Goliad.
Oh, really?
Yes, it was.
I don't remember that.
Yes, and I had a sponsor who got the car and put me up there. And what I did was, when I got the pageant, is I got sponsors to pay for golf lessons at the Pecan Valley Golf Course, which is no longer there either, which broke my heart when I found that out.
But they are redeveloping it.
Oh, good. Yay. I loved golf. And they were so sweet.
It's going to wind up a multi-use kind of live, work. It's going to be
I love
like
that
retail
area.
shops.
Yeah.
They're going to have like
Revitalize
apartments,
it.
condos on top.
Because you got that gorgeous park right there. And it has little rivers and little streams. And so that's what I would do. And so I would take the kids from my hood who had never been, we'd all lived around there, but none of us had ever gone to golf there. So by then, my dad had already taught me about golf. So I would get them to pay for the club rentals for me and the kids. And we just, basically did the basics. We didn't go all out and have tournaments or anything like that. And of course, I was running my business at the time too. So, but it was really an awesome time because that's when I got to meet Tommy Atkinson, who's still there.
Still there.
He's still awesome. And I just moved back from LA and I ran into him at another event. They were doing some charity. And I was just like, oh my gosh, you never change. I was like, you look exactly the same as when I left LA.
Yeah, he's been in office for what, 16 years, something like that? He still looks the same.
And such a nice person.
He really
just
is.
really genuinely down to earth.
He's very
and
approachable.
Fun. Yeah. So it was great. So I love all my Southeast Side loves and I love that neighborhood. And I remember Snake Road.
Yeah.
Up to Highlands High School. Now, what happened with Highlands High School?
They're doing like a multi-million-dollar renovation on it.
Yeah.
Because Highlands, I think, was one of the oldest schools. I mean, I know Jefferson is the oldest, but I think Highlands was one of the oldest schools. It was built in like the late 40s, early 50s.
I started out high school there. And I was like 13 because I got skipped up when I was little. So I was this little girl, like 13, 14, going, oh, well, by the second year, they were like, come here, little girl, come jump in this back seat. And I was like, okay. So then my mom was like, you are not going there anymore. I got lost. Sometimes on my way from the car to the first class period. So apparently I had a bad sense of direction. I had a lot of people going, come on, let's just get free breakfast and then we'll go. And I was like, okay.
I was a dork in school.
Yeah, I was
really
too.
was.
I followed them. I'm like, I shouldn't have stayed in school.
I was all, science and math, although I
love
suck at math.
Science. I adore science, but I don't understand it. My son has to watch the Science Channel with me now and explain to me what's going on. But yeah, and then and I loved Highland. I played tennis, and then I got in a little trouble, and then they took me out completely. And I really loved being an Aldo for those 2 years. It was fun, even though I was kind of lost going all the way to school.
I was on the swim team at high school. As you can see, I have a swimmer's build.
A swimmer's.
Yeah, Shemu's a swimmer.
You are so wrong. Where is my chancla? Because we all know about the chancla on the south side too. The chancla does exist. But that's the thing is that you graduated from there. And then that's when you started working with Southwestern Bell?
Actually, I worked at, what was my first job? I worked at the Express News.
Marketing. I
was in advertising. I was a liaison between the advertisers and the marketing and the reps. So I did all the running back and forth. I was a runner.
Wow.
But by the end, when I left the paper, it's called putting the paper to sleep. Somebody from ad service, which is our department, we'd put the paper to sleep every night.
Wow. But now
It's all computerized now.
yeah, now it's like I think the paper is really dying. I mean, people just don't buy the paper. I remember it was a big thing every Sunday. Oh, I'll get the paper, and we all sit around, cut out coupons. But now everybody's like, no, just go online. You can get your coupon. You don't even have to waste all that paper. It's sad.
I stopped. I was buying just the Sunday paper for a long time, but I don't even do that anymore.
Yeah, unless you're like a serious couponer, I think you keep the paper because you want to like clip everything. But now everything's printable too. But yeah, it's dying. But so when you work with your clients, you're like, okay, these old methods don't work anymore. These are the new and upcoming methods. So tell me about those new and upcoming methods.
I have a client had a client, who it was a pet grooming store that had been around for 20-something years. My client inherited it from her mother. Her mother had passed away suddenly, and she took over. There was no POS. There was no cash register. There was no credit cards. There was no files.
Wow.
I mean, there was files, but everything was in folders.
Oh.
There was nothing electronic at all. So what me and the client did is we sat down one day, and one of the things that I'll do to get to learn, because I don't know anything about pet grooming.
Right.
All I know is that I drop my dogs off, and they send me a big bill, and I don't know what happens in between. Then they smell pretty when they get them back. So I sat there, and I worked with her for a week, so I can find out. And talk about it's just like it was an in-depth consultation, because I didn't know anything about the business. I didn't know what was going on, and so I sat in the office, and I literally put all the files, all her not patient files, client files,
the puppies,
into a system.
Wow.
Then we got a POS system that works on her laptop, so they can take credit card.
Wow.
And we merged that file with, I can't remember the name of the program, but they talk to each other.
Oh, see, if you're still using paper files, okay, I have to say I'm kind of guilty of that.
I am too, because I'm very technology.
I'm definitely going to be bugging up on you.
I'm very technology driven, but I still carry around a paper calendar.
Okay. That works too,
really
because
do.
God forbid the battery dies and you don't know where you're at and you need to be somewhere. Yeah, paper doesn't fail. So I know. So you need Cris, basically. If you're still dealing in those old school ways with your business and it's still kind of a nightmare headache to like try to figure out where is this client's information, I got to go through 1,000 files. I'm definitely, want you to call Cris. Go on his website, www.crisgarza.com. No H. Because, that's exactly what we need. And so many times, like for me, I went straight through school, so I could tell you everything I need to tell you about my business physiologically. Right. But the business side, I didn't seem to catch on to, And so having those systems that you obviously teach us small business owners in place frees up our brain to keep doing what we love to do in our research and everything that we do.
Right. You have a business to run.
Yes.
And that's what you know how to do. Run that business. I help you run that business. I have a business to run, and my business is helping you know what you need to do. That's how it works together.
Because there's show business, and there's the show, whatever the meat of your business is, and then there's the business side of the show. And that's what Cris helps you deal with, is that business side of your show. And you just help them shine.
I teach classes too.
Oh, okay, I'm going to your classes. Tell me about when your classes are,
my next
where
class
they are.
coming up is at Venture Point on Babcock.
I love Venture Point. Okay.
On the 28th. And it's for e-newsletters.
E-newsletters.
Because I send out a newsletter to all my clients and everyone that I meet, probably at least once a week.
Really?
And they're like, oh, these letters, they're so cute, and they got the pictures and all the information and all the links are there. And I have I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but if you know anything about newsletters, it is. I have a 33 to 35% rate open.
That's very impressive. Because most people, unless they just really have a lot of time to kill, they're waiting for their oil to be changed. Then they have time to look at it. But if they're running from school to work to home to family,
right? And if you get
a
newsletter or an email from somebody that you may or may not have done a lot of work with, you're probably not going to read it.
Okay, so you're going to teach
and I'm
us
guilty
about
of that too.
Yeah.
You know, I get an email from one of the networking groups that I go to every week. I don't open it every week.
Okay, that was a confession. That's a confession.
Sue, I love you. I'm there every Thursday though.
That's right. Presents is everything.
Mamacita's from 11:30 to 1.
11:30 to 1. And what is that meeting?
That's the brag, build relationships and grow.
Oh, brag. So build relationships and grow. And that's Mamacita's which one?
The one on 10?
On I-10.
Callahan Medical.
Okay, Callahan Medical.
Now, if you go to the website, if you go to my website, you'll see a calendar of events.
Okay.
And the majority of the ones that I attend are on my calendar.
Awesome. So make sure if you're trying to meet up with Cris and, let him know what your business is, what you think you might need. It's C-R-I-S-R, Garza. And I know I keep saying that, but if you're like me, I go in and I spell a name like I think it should be spelled, and then I'm like, boo, he's blocked me. He doesn't love me anymore. So it's CRISR Garza.com, because I definitely want to stalk you.
I'm okay with that. I miss my stalkers.
I do. I mean, I want to stalk you. I want to go to these meetings because as a business owner, it just seems like you keep growing and growing and growing, and sometimes that infrastructure is not there to support the growth, and it's just blessings, but you're the infrastructure guy. You're like, let me set up your foundation for you, so as you continue to grow, you have firmer roots.
I can't announce it yet, but I had a meeting with a nonprofit organization yesterday, a very brief meeting. And me and one of the ladies that I work with, she has a great company called Get to Biz. And so it's B-I-Z, gettobiz.com. And I partnered with her. And it's strictly for business to business owners.
Sweet.
I know a lot of people go to the networking meetings, and a lot of times, and there's nothing wrong with them.
I love them. That's where I met you.
Yeah, but you can see a lot of times there's network marketing and there's multi-level marketing and direct sales marketing, and there's fine with that. That's what Tax Lope and Legal Shield are.
Yeah,
but I pick the ones that work for me.
Right.
You can find the one if you want to sell travel vacation, if you want to sell vitamins, whatever it is that you want to do, you find that niche.
Right.
But you still need somebody that works as a business. Mm-hmm. So that's where I come in. Mm-hmm. So what she's doing is she has a strictly business to business.
Love it. And it's Get to Biz, the number 2, not TWO. So GET number 2, BIZ.com.
Yeah.
Okay. .com.
And she has a weekly event. She has a lunch one week and a happy hour the next week.
Oh, wow.
And those are going to be on my calendar.
On the calendar.
You can also find it on
You got to get on Chris's calendar. And don't forget, it's www.CRISRgarza.com, because you definitely want to hook up with this guy. He's a wealth of information. And I'm just so excited that you actually got to come in and talk with me.
To come.
I've been like stalking you. I know. I kind of got that thing going on. But I love Facebook because I can stalk you in a non-creepy way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And whenever you have a chance to get back with me, then you can do it. And it could be at 3:30 in the morning. I'm snoring, but I love that.
I think I replied to a message this morning. It was like 3:45.
Yes, because you had an eventful event last night. And so, again, I know you're tired from it because it was so much fun. And then also they can find you on your Facebook page, your fan page. So just Cris R. Garza. So
no, the fan page for the business is facebook.com/Garza Marketing.
Okay, /Garza Marketing. So we don't have to worry about spelling the Cris right on that one. But they have your personal pages on there too. So you'll definitely be able to. And then, so now you're going through this evolution, though. You said you used to be Garza Marketing SA. Now it's going. So is the logos different?
The logos are still the same.
Okay, good.
This is actually my logo here, the little bird.
Cute.
For those of you who don't know Spanish, the crane in Spanish is la garza.
La Garza.
So that's me. I got tired of explaining it. So if you look at my business card, it actually has the Loteria card from the Mexican bingo.
Oh, I love Mexican bingo. We got to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I don't pull out my own business card and cheat. Don't think I won't.
Oh.
No, you call La Garza. I'll put my bean down. But yeah, it's still going to be Garza Marketing, but I'm just transitioning the website just to something a little bit better. I believe that you should need to always evolve. With all the businesses that I've had and all the services that I do, I've added stuff and I've removed stuff and I add stuff and I remove stuff. And this is kind of the core, I think, what needs to be done.
Man, I love it. I love all your journeys, your experiences, and life is an evolution. And so if you're evolving, like most business owners, entrepreneurs, writers, inventors, artists that I know, you got to get with Cris because he can definitely help you out. And I love you. I love hanging out with my South Side hometown boy. And so thank you so much for logging on to satalktoday.com. We'll definitely look for us on our YouTube channel, Silver Fox Studios, as well as our Facebook pages, SA Talk Today. And then don't forget to look for Cris at his Garza Marketing fan page as well. Until next time, thank you so much. Bye.